And it is time for Poorman's 15 Minutes of Fame. As I mentioned, brought to you by Newport Beach Tax and Financial. And joining me on the 15 Minutes of Fame is Nick Ziegler. Nick has been in all kinds of different bands and projects ever since the 80s. He's been in a band called Mary's Danish that had a hit on K-Rock back in the day with Don't Crash the Car Tonight. He's been in a band called the Leonards. Most recently, the 4019s. I introduced them on stage at a winery in Temecula. I believe I managed to get Terry Nunn of Berlin very angry with me because I got a little bit too buzzed at this gig. You remember that, Nick?
Yeah, I remember, man. Those were fun nights, man. When you came down, brother, we had a blast.
Yeah, I think you had me introduce you at a couple different wineries, but one time Billy Bob Thornton was the main event, and you were opening for him. In all your different music, you've opened up for a lot of very famous people, and you've always sort of been on the fringes of really, hitting it, I guess, would be the correct answer, right?
Yeah, I've been lucky to be around some really great bands over the years, and it's such a hard thing to do. I've always done it for the love of it and just to show up and do my best, and everything that I've done, man, it's been fun, and guys like you and it's your days at K-Rock, and what you're doing now, brother, you're really doing a lot for the music scene, man. I'm happy to talk with you.
Yeah, and back at you. Before we get to the music, I think, your true 15 minutes of fame, you don't like to talk about it because you do it every day, but you are a very serious movie maker. I think that's where you really shine. I mean, if you want to talk about making it big in the entertainment world, I mean, you're working on big movies, big TV shows, big projects pretty much every day of your life for decades, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been, I worked at Virgin Records, and then once that the whole record industry kind of sidelined, I went and joined the music business, the film business. I was lucky to get involved with that, and just one thing led to another. I got to work a lot of Clint Eastwood movies, and that alone was an incredible trip. I've met some old K-Rock band people doing the same thing I'm doing, and
yeah. What do you do on movie sets? What is your job?
Yeah, I'm in set lighting. So there's like the director, the lighting director, the Grip brothers and sisters, and then electricians and lighting department. That's me.
And tell me about working with Clint. I mean, you know him, obviously, right?
Yeah, back in the day. I haven't seen him in a while because he's kind of getting up there. But I hear he might be doing another one at some point. And
what's it like? What's he like as a person, and what's it like to work with him?
He's very relaxed. He wouldn't yell action. He'd just say go. And I learned that comes from his days in the 50s working around horses, and you got to keep the horses calm, That made the whole set calm. Everyone who worked on his set, a lot of these guys, man, when I first showed up there, I'm talking to guys he worked with from the 40s and 50s, like his old art director, Bumstead. They used to call him Bummy. And I get to talking to him, and he's worked on a lot. You have to look him up on IMDb, but he'd tell you anything you wanted to know about any movie he worked on. And same with his old stuntman, his stunt guy, Buddy Van Horn. I'd just go up and chat with him. If he had a minute, he'd tell me, like, he was a second unit director on the Wild Bunch. This guy has seen some stuff. But that was the thing I always enjoyed about our business, was talking, and I'd be sitting in set and hearing Clint talking about these, High Plains Drifter and all this stuff.
What did he say?
Well, just how he worked on these movies, how they got these shots done, and who he worked with, and like Dirty Harry working with I think his name was Andy Robinson, the Scorpio, and Any Which Way But Loose, which filmed at the Palomino. So I was asking him about the Palomino today.
Yeah,
he was so cool. He's so cool, Jim, that he knew I was an electrician, and we call us juicers. but everybody was treated the same on his set, and I admired the heck out of that guy. I still do. He's what I feel like I got in that business for. Anyone will tell you that. Anybody that worked with him.
Did he think Dirty Harry would be a hit when he was making it?
I don't think so. I think that I don't know if even he was up for that role. I heard that John Wayne initially was up for that role, but imagine that. Remember when John Wayne did Brannigan? I don't know if you remember that show.
No, I don't.
I think once Dirty Harry took off, he said, "Oh man, I should have did that cop movie." But
so John Wayne turned it down.
Yeah, that's my understanding, or he couldn't do it or something, and then Clint was right there to do it, and what a choice for that.
Was the line, "Do you feel lucky, punk"? Was that in the movie, or did he just ad-lib that one?
I don't know. I should have asked him. I'm sure it sounds like something he'd wing, because I just know we're working around those guys, and I like I said, when you're the lighting guy, you're right up there, and you're manning your lights and waiting for any moves or whatever, but a lot of things get improvised, The great ones know how to improvise,
and keeping that set calm is so important with movies, because if something goes wrong, people just flip out because the jobs are so hard to get. I mean, I did a lot of extra background work and acting work in movies. I totally relate with what you say, and it's. If something goes wrong, people all flip out.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I just stay quiet, listen, and you get like a master's degree in movie history, and it was just. I even remember asking him. I know you're a surfer. Remember Don Stroud? He was Murph the Surf. I don't know if you remember him. He was an old school '60s guy.
No, I've never heard of him.
I was asking him about a fight scene with Murph the Surf in Coogan's Bluff, and he
James
said,
Coburn.
No, it was the movie was called Coogan's Bluff. It was like he was a cowboy and went to New York City.
What happened then?
And I was asking him about this big fight scene he had with Don Stroud. You'll know Don Stroud when you see him, and he said, "Yeah, they were going toe to toe in that fight scene."
It was real fighting.
Yeah, occasionally they'd let one go, They're tough guys. They're tough guys, man. You gotta love them,
Even riding horses, I bet these guys get thrown off the horses too. Back when they made those westerns and everything.
Oh yeah. I remember talking with a stunt guy. I've mentioned Buddy Van Horn about that kind of stuff, and he said, "Yeah, you got to really be careful around the horses," and that's why I think, getting back to what Clint was saying about, he'd just say, no, he wouldn't yell action. He'd just say go, nice and quiet.
All right, Nick Ziegler thought he was talking music. Now he's talking movies. But you've been doing this movie thing for a while. I'd love to know some of the ex-K-Rock bands that got into the movie business doing what you're doing. That'd be, if you can remember any of them.
Yeah, well, now that it gives me a minute to think about it, it was one of the Untouchables, and you had one of them on your show recently.
Yeah, I had Derek. Derek was the bass player. I don't think it was Derek.
No, it wasn't Derek, but it was, doggone it. Well,
not Jerry. Jerry was the singer. But.
Yeah, we just happened to start talking. One of us had a shirt on or something from the old days, and like I bump into guys that were in. You remember the Rave Ups used to play Palomino all the time, and some of the other old bands, like guys from Dramarama, and you bump into a lot of the old gang in the movie business,
Yeah, they people like Dramarama are lucky. The '80s got popular again, and they got to still do a lot of gigs. John Easdale has constantly been working with one hit with anything. He was on here too on 15 Minutes of Fame. All right, Nick, we're going to take a break. I promise we'll get to some of your music here. But
okay, brother.
I just thought about it. You never talk about the fact you're a lighting director. When the movies, you must have a great pension. You're in the union. You can pay the bills, my friend.
Yeah, that worked, man. The trade-off is it ain't like the old days where we used to work. You just go out and do your thing, and then when you get in the movie biz, Well, I don't know about now, but yeah, you're working 80 hours a week.
Yeah. Now that's a whole different development, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's
man.
tough go with the movie industry. All right, I'll take a break. And Nick, can you hang on?
Anything for you, poor man. You got it.
All right.
Here's Dan at Fitzgerald's Auto regarding how to pass your smog check.
All right, back to Nick Ziegler on a Poor Man's 15 Minutes of Fame. Nick, most recently in the 4019s, now he's doing some of his own original music. Hayes in the Canyon wanted to know if you knew about Christian Bale freaking out on the set of Batman.
I think I think everyone's heard of that one.
What did
I
he
wasn't
do?
around for that one. Yeah.
Tell me what happened. I haven't heard it.
No, I just think he had a problem, or his concentration was, he was in the middle of a rehearsal or something. So, I've never seen any kind of blowouts like that, but you hear about them. I was lucky working with Eastwood. Everything was calm, I just think he was probably in the middle of like a rehearsal or something, and something happened, and And that's why usually when they rehearse, they tell everybody, get out. They're rehearsing.
I don't want to get off track, but we are.
And you've been on sets and you see how hard everybody works. Yeah, man, it's just yeah. I've been lucky to be just always having good times, man. I listen to all the old timers. I miss all the old timers, man, because that's all we talk about is just what movies they worked on. And a lot of the old grips, they turn out to be old stuntmen from the 40s and 50s, and I got to know like Burt Reynolds' brother. It's like his stepbrother. And man, the stories these guys would tell you, just how the business was, and working with guys like Ernie Borgnine, and that was the juice for me, man. I loved hearing all those stories and how they did it, and working, like you said, with those cowboys, working on working around the horses and all the stunts. Those stunt guys, well, I tell you, they're fascinating people.
Yeah, real quickly, I don't want to forget your music before we're done. So,
okay.
Go ahead and tell us about what you've done and what you do.
Well, Jim, I remember back in the day, brother, on K-Rock, man, when I was in Mary's Danish, man, and you guys played our first tune, Don't Scratch Your Car. It was a demo. And man, I tell you, and then I got to meet you. We did that show at the Palomino, and I even posted it. It's online about when you introduced us, and the place was packed, and all those bands on a Wednesday night at the Palomino. I mean, let's just run down the list. Social Distortion. I think you introduced No Doubt, maybe, right? And,
no, they didn't play it, but Social D did, and they never played because it was a riot there. There were so many people. they didn't play. It was just packed and out of control, and they canceled their performance.
Did you go? Were you at the Chili Peppers afternoon show? I didn't make that one.
No, I did not. No.
Yeah, but anyway, at least you and we got to hang out.
Yeah, you opened for the Chili Peppers, right? With one of your bands.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, Mary's Danish back in actually in the afternoons. K-Rock used to have a live an afternoon thing on Wednesdays.
Yeah. By the way, you are a drummer, just so everybody knows. Yeah. Vocalist, drummer. Continue.
Right. Yeah. And then they would go down and play the Palomino at the end of the night. I used to see some great bands with K-Rock in the afternoons, and then head down there, and you'd be introducing bands with Old Ken Fusion, or you remember One West? Did you remember that club, One West in Pasadena?
Yeah, I did a few gigs there.
Yeah, yeah. It's like I remember. Yeah, those are fun, and especially a lot of your audience down in the South Bay, and now that are listening. I'm sure they all remember like Fenders, the Funhouse of Fenders, Foothill, Signal Hill, and Celebrity Theater. Man, that was a big one. When
do you know the Palomino sign? The Palomino is closed. It was right off Lancashire and the 101 freeway. And I would do a Wednesday night live remote broadcast from there, the local music showcase that Nick is talking about. And that Palomino sign, another one of our guests here on Poor Man's 15 Minutes of Fame, Tommy Gelinas, He is the owner of the Valley Relics Museum. He has that neon sign in the
Wow.
museum. Somebody gave it to him.
Yeah, it appeared one day because that when they shut that place down, yeah, someone gave that to him. That's awesome. And you know, when you came up to see us at Joe's American, remember you came, you brought Tony Valentino, and that's how I met him, through you. And he's one of my dear friends right now. But
he's also been on 15 Minutes of Fame. Was on last week talking about Sonny and Cher in the early days before they even had a hit. He said that he had to pay Sonny $5,000 to produce their hit song when they were struggling trying to make it.
wow.
They barely had $5,000. Handed it over to Sonny, and you know how many hits he produced for them?
One, none.
It is right, none, none, and they never saw the $5,000 again.
Oh man, it's a tough business, man.
That was before Dirty Water. They eventually got signed to Capitol and had some fame. But he produced you guys, I think, didn't he?
Yeah, we did. We did a song together. It's called Late Night Radio. Tony's such a God bless him. He's a rock and roll trooper, man. I tell you, he's a fun guy.
So you've kept on with your music. It's your passion, and I have here a new song that is called "Get Ready." Right, but this is a single by you, Nick Ziegler. Correct?
Yeah, we just having fun with the cover. It's the Rare Earth version of Get Ready, and we were going to put it out initially with Big Stir, but hopefully that'll come to fruition. I'm putting out an album at some point in the coming summer. So
is this yours or is this the 4019s?
No, this is mine. 4019s. We used to play a lot down in Temecula, but ever since COVID, they're trying to get it back together. Getting the live shows. Like when you came down, man, I tell you, that was the funnest thing ever, Jim. I was looking at my thing. I hope Poorman makes it, and then I hear, like 1 minute before we go on, I hear Nick, and I turn around. You were coming through the vineyards. I remember.
I was going through the wine vines and everything. I was late to introduce you. That was
you made it. You made it right at time, brother. That was fun. That was a great night, man.
It was great. I think you were opening for Billy Bob Thornton that night.
You're right. Yeah, Billy Bob down at one of the wineries down there. Yeah, it was fun, man. It was fun. So, Jim, because you were starting up on a station up the way, and as soon as everyone heard your voice, everybody turned around. They knew right away. They recognized Poorman, man. That was awesome,
Well, it was an honor to have you guys have me to introduce you, and it's also been great to have you on the air here on 15 Minutes of Fame. Nick Ziegler, how do people get in touch with you? Give us your social media contacts.
Yeah, everyone's on Instagram. It's Nick Z Rock and Roll, and Facebook, same thing, Nick Z Rock and Roll, and X, Nick Z 728. I posted some old stuff, and when you told me I was going to be on the show, I posted a lot of old stuff. So maybe all your '80s fans will remember a lot of the bands and some of the venues and all that, because this was such great days down there. And as a matter of fact, the Celebrity Theater, I don't know if people remember a club called Big John's down in Fullerton, and that place, you got the fire destroyed it. So K-Rock put together a show with Dramarama, Easter. Mike Ness was playing with them, and the Pandoras, who you just had on recently, one of the girls from Pandoras, and that was a fun night at the Celebrity Theater. So you guys are always there, man. You're doing it now, brother, with all you're doing for the local scene and the old timers like me.
Appreciate it. New timers, old timers, everybody is welcome. It's a kumbaya here on Poor Man's Morning Rush. It was Melanie Vannon of the Pandoras. All right, so go ahead and introduce your song, Nick, and thanks for coming on.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it. Yeah, also, too, man, Lenny from the Leonard's days, he's in the Needmores. Check them out. They're still kicking it in Detroit. But this song it's a cover, of course, the Rare Earth version of Get Ready. And we're just having fun. It's It's Nelson from Brian Wilson's band was helped me out on vocals, and Paul Dugray, who worked with X a lot, helped out arranging and producing and stuff. So enjoy it, and thanks for having me, man. And everybody rock on. Keep rocking.
Yeah, and if you go to my Instagram, Poor Man's Morning Rush, you'll see a post I put up last night of Nick and I toasting while having cocktails in our hands.
That's right.
It's up there. I sent you a collab on that, too.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Nick.
All right, Jim. Thank you, brother. Keep rocking for me, man.